Welcome to the first episode of Three Questions and a Laugh, a chance for me to have interesting conversations with interesting people and then end on a joke or a funny story or a pun that will bring a smile to your face. My first guest is a leader in the philanthropic movement here in Chicago and a very good guy. Please welcome Sean Garrett, the president and CEO of Metro Chicago. Sean, welcome.
Great. Thanks for having me.
Thrilled to have you, and welcome back to Chicago. It's nice to have you and your family here. You know the premise here. I'm going to ask you a few questions, three to be exact, and just pick your brain for a couple of minutes.
Sounds good.
First one is this. So we as business leaders are certainly concerned about keeping our businesses afloat and taking care of our family, but quickly our mind goes to how we can help the community. You and your partners have done some amazing things around this COVID pandemic. Tell us more about the fund that you started and what you all are doing with it.
Yeah. So right before the kind of shutdown order came down, we started talking with our friends over at the Chicago Community Trust and then the mayor's office about what a centralized response fund could look like. And what we knew was that people would want to get involved. So we wanted to create a pathway for the community to be able to give back and to help out in a time that we knew was going to be significant. But we also had a sense that there was going to be real hardship at the time, and that was 8 weeks ago. At the time, I don't think we realized exactly what we were getting into, but we knew we wanted to quickly mobilize dollars to help people with these immediate basic needs. Things like food, shelter, things like helping to prepare our nonprofit partners who are going in every single day, serving this community, putting themselves at risk with limited protection. And we wanted to make sure that they had access to the cleaning supplies, the protective equipment, the things that maybe we don't think about in the nonprofit sector needing, but these are folks that are serving shelters, they're serving direct line, handing out food, you name it, and coming into contact with literally thousands of people a day. And these staffs are going in and doing this at great risk to themselves. And so we wanted to be there to make sure that those organizations have the resources they need to respond. And boy, they've done that.
So tell us, how much have you raised and where has that money gone?
Yeah, so as of this morning, we've been able to raise about $30.6 million, which has been a remarkable testament to the commitment of this community. And that comes from all kinds of different gifts. Yes, we've had some folks be able to do $1 million and $2 million. We've had companies be able to write checks for $500,000. But we've also raised over $1.2 million from everyday individuals who are giving $10, $20, and $30. And they're sending notes along with it. I mean, it's really cool to see where, a woman sent in a gift for $25 and said, "This is all I can spare. I'm having a baby in 3 weeks, but somebody else will need this." We had another story where a family sent in a gift on behalf of the family. It was about $250. And they said, we weren't able to have our grandmother's birthday party because we couldn't all be together. So instead, we took the dollars that we were going to spend on the food and we want to give it to you to make sure that others can eat tonight. And those are the kinds of stories that we've been seeing. And so those dollars then have allowed us to quickly turn around dollars to help ensure that the nonprofit community in Chicago can respond. So again, it's going to things like basic needs, food and shelter. We're doing cash transfers to families that are out of work to ensure that they have the basic fundamentals to be able to pay for the things they need. We're helping with rent assistance. We've been helping with, families getting connected and access to things their kids need for school. So it's been a fairly broad response, but focused very much on the emergency needs that people are seeing right now.
That's incredible. So let's talk about the people who've either already given or that aren't going to be able to give financially. Do you have recommendations of what they can do to serve the community if giving money isn't an option right now?
Yeah. So we've encouraged folks to just talk about the need that's out there. We've said this in a number of different settings. We're all experiencing this, but we're all experiencing it in different ways. And I think we can't take for granted the experience that, I might be having where, yeah, my life has been impacted, but we're not facing these same challenges that others are. And we have to help people understand that in specific neighborhoods in the city of Chicago and in our suburbs, the impact is far greater than anything we can imagine. So we've got to be able to share that. So that's one that we're encouraging people to do. But two, we want people to find ways to give hope. And, I've got young kids. And so I really encourage people, let them express gratitude. Let them express thanks for what's happening around us, whether that be chalking the sidewalks nearby, whether it be, things that are like making signs for first responders. But help them feel to be part of this effort. So we're encouraging people to do that. And then 3, there is volunteerism that's taking place. You can volunteer with almost any of the food banks and food depository, Greater Chicago Food Depository. They have set up the guidelines and ways for people to engage, and it is safe. It is something that, they're very clear on the rules, but it's needed because the reality is almost all of our partners depend on volunteers. And in the last 8 weeks, volunteerism has declined dramatically. Revenue in terms of the fundraising that they've done has declined dramatically, and yet the need has dramatically skyrocketed. So if you go to our website, we list all the different organizations that we're working with through this fund, many of which have volunteer activities that are listed. Likewise, we have what we call, it's a virtual face mask project, which allows people to virtually help make face masks that will end up getting out to the front line. So a lot of different ways for people to engage.
That's awesome. And hopefully as the shelter in place mandates are lifted, that we'll see even more people getting out and wanting to contribute. So your third question, your last question is more one of encouragement, but what words do you have for the Chicagoland people as we sort of continue to deal with this pandemic and the uncertainty? You're a philanthropic leader, you're someone who has a lot of respect in the marketplace. Share some words of encouragement for those who might be listening or watching on LinkedIn.
Yeah, I'd say, first of all, it's gratitude. It's not a given that a community responds the way our community has. And we're seeing responses play out around the country, and it's been really impressive to see. But one of the things that Chicago has always prided itself on is it's a community that works together, that's corporate and civic infrastructure works in partnership. And we've seen that. And we've seen that in ways on the political sense. We've seen that in ways in the philanthropic sense and the business sense. And I think that's something to be really proud of. And I think it's something that gives us a place to begin the rebuilding. We're still in the recovery right now, in the response phase. We're not rebuilding yet. But what we are seeing is new partnerships are being formed all over the place. Folks are innovating in ways that we never thought we would be able to innovate. Just to give you, a couple quick examples, for years, folks have been trying to figure out ways to help do what they call cash transfers, ways to get money in hands of folks who desperately need it. Well, in the time that this happened, they were about to launch a major effort to try this. So they were able to do it, and it's working. And it's working really well to help keep families stable. When the federal government came out with the money that they were going to go through the stimulus, locally, we were able to do it so much quicker because those dollars were set up and ready to go. So that innovation has been taking place all around our city. And we're just incredibly grateful for what has happened because we know that that's just the start. And we know this is going to continue because of these partnerships that have been built.
Great. Well, remind us of that website so that we can get people to continue to contribute and look for opportunities to serve.
Yeah, so if folks go to the Chicago Community COVID-19 Response Fund.org.
Got it.
Nice long one for everyone.
Nice long one, but we'll get that on the screen so that people can see that. All right, do you know the premise? I ask you 3 questions, but we want to bring a little smile and laughter to people during this difficult time. So this is the laugh part of the discussion. So share with us something funny, a joke. You're a father of 2 boys. You've got to have some dad jokes up your sleeve. So hit us with
I'm going to stay away from the dad jokes, but I'm going to give you a dad experience. So my 5-year-old, one day, I was watching one of the mayor's speeches. She was talking, actually, it was the day she was launching in partnership with us, the fund, right? And so I was really proud. I had my 5-year-old sit in my lap and watching it. It's like the mayor's going to talk. And the only thing he took away from that was the mayor said, if you're over 65, you should not go outside your house. You need to stay home at all times. And so every day since, when he's talking on FaceTime with my parents, who are 67, he said, Bubba and Gran, the mayor says you have to stay home at all times. And of course, they're not listening. And so he's yelling at them constantly. The mayor says you need to be home. So he's trying to be his own little Mayor Lori Lightfoot and ensure that everyone's staying home at all times so that they follow the rules.
That is awesome. Out of the mouth of babes. Well, we are creating a generation of people who are going to understand what that means and how to have an impact in the community. So, hey, thanks for being with me today. And maybe more importantly, thanks for all you're doing for Chicago. Incredible to see $30 million raised in 8 weeks to help those who need it. Continued good luck to you and your team, and I look forward to staying in touch.
No, thank you. We appreciate it.
Thanks, Sean.